there's not enough electricity to keep up with the growth in the demand that's going on in the state. The state is growing. There's more population coming in.
No, but y'all don't know any, you don't know locals, I don't know suppliers, but I don't know any plant that's coming online for you. I don't. So if nothing's coming online, the price is gonna go up.
And it could be something's coming online in a territory that is I mean, we're talking about non-deregulated territories here. Territories that, you know, Encore, the OTXU, and those guys are actually in. And this school district is in one of those territories, so you have choices. And there's nothing that we know of, unless you've heard something that is coming online. Everything that we're reading in the deregulated market in the state of Texas is about adding generation. We've got to do something to get more generators here because we're seeing rolling brownouts and blackouts. People moving into the state has a huge impact on that.
And it's not just that, but the EPA pressure you know, TXU has a ton, it's limited now, but they have a ton of coal-fired generation, and there is, again, newspapers in the Dallas Morning News about the pressure.
Let me ask you this. Let me make a statement. First of all, when I came here, we were getting keys. This board, listened, and we were saving about $100,000 a year. That $100,000, based on where we were, is still going to continue now, no matter where this thing goes to, right? According to where we was when we come in.
That's correct. That's correct. But you're basing your old TXU contract off of the contract we're currently under,
right?
Plus the new contract that we would
So as
execute.
far as savings goes, from where I came in, it'd still be $100,000 a year.
Correct.
Relative to that 8.0.
Or a little less if it's below whatever that number was you gave.
Right. That's correct.
So, let me ask you something. You're saying that we should work with you, when's our contract up, 3 years?
Yeah,
2015. So in 3 years' time, we have to sign this contract now, so we can save that money? And
they have to buy it, Judge, what they gotta do, they gotta buy that now.
yeah, I'm just saying, why can't we wait until a couple of years from now?
If you wait, that's what we're talking
What
about.
happens if we get some more energy out of that? We're always looking for new energies. With Trey on that, if we get stuck with that and all of a sudden the gas prices are going down right now.
It's a commodity. If you don't do something, what's it going to cost you?
No, there is a strategy that is, we're just gonna wait. We're not, that is a strategy. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not. We're recommending against it, and it's because we don't think it's gonna go down. I think it's gonna go up.
Kilowatt hour, you tell me TXU's charging?
It was?
How much right?
No, we're not with TXU.
They charge
Encore does.
He's talking about
2.5 cents.
I'm guessing it's 2.5 to 3 cents. I'd have to look at the bills. It varies by customer. It's based on your demand and the ratio of your demand to your kilowatt hours. Yeah.
That's an entirely.
That's regulated.
You have to separate non-regulated from regulated. This is what you have to do. Regulated charges are, I mean, that's transmission and delivery. That's not open to you guys to change. It's always going to be there. What we're talking about is the cost per kWh. We're simply talking about that cost. We can add the other, but it's very difficult because not only is it difficult, the school district doesn't pay one rate for TDSP for the school district. You pay a different rate for every meter. Is that what across the whole state? Lots of different rates. So to sit here and say the school district pays XYZ for all 12 meters is inaccurate. Each meter has a different transmission and delivery charge.
But to go back to your question, there is a strategy that says, let's wait. And again, that could work out. And that's kind of our point is, we think that there is limited room for the price to come down some. It was at 4.5 cents in February of this year, okay? That's $0.015. Okay? Could it come back? That's kind of, I don't see it going, there's kind of a base cost that it takes to run power plants in Texas that you get to a point where you just can't really charge much less than that. But we do think there is room for it to go down maybe $0.015. We also would tell you that there's room for it to go up 5 or 6 pennies. And in July of 2008, people were signing contracts, writing contracts at 12 cents a kilowatt hour for the energy only. And that's our point. We believe that the pressure is up. The Public Utility Commission is saying that they're going to do it. They're raising the wholesale caps to get people to build generation. And I do not have a crystal ball, and I don't want to make you guys think that we can tell what it's going to be. All we're telling you is from a risk management perspective, the upside risk is much higher than the downside. So
I'm just saying, I'm with Trey, that in 3 years is a long time.
it is.
A lot of things change.
6 years.
I'm sorry, it'll be 6 years.
It'll be
that's correct.
6 years total.
It'll be 6 years, and 6 years is a long time. New energies come up, people are looking for new stuff. My only thing is, if we are tied down, then we've lost some money if the rates have gone down.
If they go down, you haven't lost. What it is you've left money on the table that if you would have waited,
Right.
you would have get. It's kind of like picking the, people that want to chase the stock and get it, buy it at exactly the low
Right.
and sell it at exactly the high. And, if you're
I
good at that.
understand
and-
what you're saying. I
If
really
you do
do.
that, and you're good at it, then you're right. But I can just tell you that in the next 3 years, there isn't a technology coming that's going to solve Texas's energy demand other than power plants.
Even if that power plant was going online today, it'd take a number of years to get it online, you'd probably be well beyond your contract anyway. It's gonna take 5 years, 6 years to get those things built. Even if they were to agree to it today, and the problem is, they have it. We don't have them out there.
In the meantime, there's less for the people to use.
That's correct. And again, you go back to the population.
You gotta understand where we're coming from. Of course, the main thing I see at y'all is different from TXU was the factor they could opt out and we couldn't.
Right.
And this way, once it's signed, everybody's on board, it has to ride to the end of the rate.
That's correct.
There's no opt-out on
for either
the
party.
current agreement we have now, or just 3 year extension you're proposing?
No, there's not. And there's certainly not one in the favor of, the retail energy providers.
In other words, if it comes up and the thing goes to 8, somebody's gonna be eating it down the line, and it won't be us.
No, they buy it now. They literally
I know,
buy
but
it.
what I'm saying is if the price at that time goes up,
Right.
Right.
okay,
Now they assume the risk.
they have to take the risk of the loss.
That's
Would,
exactly right.
would we be covered if the energy provider files for bankruptcy?
Good question. That's one of the reasons why we're a little worried about pricing TXU. We're a partner with TXU and can't price them, but there's some things going on with their financials right now that scare us. So we're not doing a lot with TXU. Great company. It's just they've got, they went private and they have a $45 billion kind of mortgage, so to speak. So the way that happens is, if they just close the door and shuttered the business, there's what's called a provider of last resort. You're kind of thrown into the market essentially at whatever the market price is at that point to go get a new contract. What typically happens with these
In other words, you would be freed from your agreement
Oh, yeah.
if you have a debt provider.
Correct. Or if somebody buys their book, which is usually what happens, when some of these small guys, and there's none of the people on here, Champion Energy, for example, is their financial backing is from Crane Capital and Electricity Across. Their EDF is a huge energy player in the world. So good financials, all these companies, that's one of the things we do is kind of vet the financials. It's very similar to the insurance guy that we just heard from, is knowing that they're financially sound is important. But some of the small guys that have gone bankrupt just sold their book, and one of the bigger people bought the book. The contracts are assignable. You'll see an assignability provision in the contract, and they continue to honor that price, and everything carries right along. That is a good question. It's a great consideration.
And it's also why I don't view myself as just working for five. I also work for my clients. In the event that something happens, when you guys call me, that's the reason we're very proactive about what we're trying to recommend. We're also very proactive about helping our clients through certain steps and processes as the market changes or a change like that would be something that we definitely want to do.